So recently, Epcot has been seeing some big changes before the big Walt Disney World 50th anniversary celebration that's in literally a week, and I'm so excited and I'm gonna be there. More on that later on though, but just last week, we saw the opening of the new Creation Shop, as well as the reopening of the greatest store on Disney property, Club Cool. You get to try drinks from around the world, and it's all free. It's amazing. If you've never been to Club Cool, I very highly recommend. Also, we just got Space 220, which is the newest restaurant to open at Epcot, which looks like, honestly, one of the coolest dining experiences in the parks, which is, as I'm recording this, opened just earlier this week. And October 1st, we're getting the newest ride to open at Epcot, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. However, there still exists one piece of Epcot that is not opening within the next 2 weeks. Actually, we still don't know when it is opening. No, it's not the Moana attraction or the Play Pavilion. It is the big blue monolith that houses the first Marvel ride at Walt Disney World, the new Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster titled Cosmic Rewind, which was announced 4 years ago and became my most anticipated ride, well, right behind. Now, I know at first everyone was skeptical about Guardians of the Galaxy having an attraction in Epcot, which makes sense. It was replacing an original Epcot Pavilion and cult classic attraction, Ellen's Energy Adventure, in the Energy Pavilion. But not only that, a lot of people have also been saying that Disney needs to slow down IP-based attractions and be more original. A lot of people are pretty hostile about Marvel coming to the Disney parks, which is understandable. But to be honest, whenever Disney changes anything inside of Epcot, the hardcore Epcot fans riot, which includes me, and it also doesn't help that this is the first MCU-based attraction at Walt Disney World, and unlike the two MCU attractions in Disneyland, Web Slingers, and Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, this ride is completely new, isn't reusing any ride concepts. However, I think this is the reason why this ride has the potential to be not only the best roller coaster at Disney World, not only the best Marvel attraction in any of the Disney parks, but quite possibly Disney's most groundbreaking attraction yet. So join me as we talk a little bit about what we know, what we can expect, and what I'm excited for with the new ride, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. So let's just start off with what we do know, and at this point, we don't know that much about the ride. We know it is based around the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise within the MCU, and that it is a roller coaster type attraction, but little is known about the actual story of the ride. James Gunn, director for both Guardians of the Galaxy films, as well as the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, is supposed to film sequences for the ride, as well as a rumored Taika Waititi appearance. Could this be Korg? Could this be him directing scenes? Could it be a new character? Could it be a connection to Thor: Love and Thunder? We don't know, and all of this really fascinates me and hypes me up a lot. Now, we do know the area containing the ride and queue buildings is known as the Xandarian Outpost, and it also connects with all of the other Avengers Campus lands and attractions across all the Disney parks in one timeline, I guess. However, that continuity is less defined than, say, a Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which is set at a very specific time within the Star Wars timeline. This is more just incorporating some of the same story threads and related characters. The story details that we know so far are kind of spread out, so here's my best shot at piecing them all together. First thing we're going to check out is this promo picture, which I believe was released around the time the ride was announced, with a photoshopped photo of the actor who plays young Peter Quill in front of Spaceship Earth during the 1980s, which is part of the story relating to Peter Quill's connection with Epcot itself. Supposedly, the Guardians of the Galaxy set up an outpost in Epcot because Peter Quill has strong memories of going to the park with his family, which honestly makes sense, and I really love how self-referential not only this ride is, but all the Marvel expansions and to be honest, all the Epcot expansions are becoming really self-referential, which I think is really interesting. Now, this next piece of art we're going to look at is a concept art, which is kind of been replicated a few times, which has a Nova Corps ship parked out front. Now, this, along with some teaser footage that I'm showing you in the background, details that there will be a Nova Corps presence throughout this ride. So it's not just going to be maybe based on the Ravagers, the Collector, like it is in Mission Breakout, but this is going to be surrounding Xandar and the Nova Corps from the first film. It's also worth noting that the entire building that used to house the Ellen's Energy Adventure attraction is just the queue for this ride, and the ride is inside this big blue boy right over here. Also, you may say, why is it a Nova Corps ship out front and not the Guardian ship? Surely that would make a better centerpiece for the exterior of the attraction. And to that I would say, you're right, But also, let's take a quick look inside. We have another piece of concept art that shows us the room, which looks like it will house the main pre-show with Rocket, Groot, and oh, look at that, it's the Guardian ship. Now obviously this is very early concept art, so who knows if there will be more characters or if it's just going to be them, but they seem to be the focus of this image. Something, despite the artwork, that we're still unsure about is whether this ride will feature mostly animatronics, screens, or a good mixture. I'm not sure exactly. I feel like for this scene specifically, if it looks just like the image here, we could be seeing a Rocket and Groot animatronic, and the ship being a screen in the background. It would make sense in order to not have to make it to scale. And it was rumored for a while that we would get a life-size animatronic Groot in this queue, but that has not been confirmed, so I don't know if that's actually happening or not. Finally, the last piece of artwork we have features this planetarium, which also has a Nova Corps ship there, which ties into the story as well. This is going to be at the beginning of the queue, and it's called the Galaxarium. Since this is Epcot, a bit of education is expected in every attraction, and this seems like the answer to that within the context of this ride. This ride will also occupy the new Space Pavilion, so it will probably have something to do with space travel and the Milky Way galaxy. I get to see that being the educational element being present in this ride. So this is all we really know about the queue, so this is all we also know about like the background story, and as far as this goes, I think the lack of details not only adds the mystery to the ride, but I'm also glad there isn't so much to go off of. Rise of the Resistance is a ride that works best if you have as little information about it as possible, and I feel like they're planning big things for the story with this ride, similar to Rise of the Resistance. The Guardians of the Galaxy universe is so big and vast that I think there could be a lot of neat Easter eggs, references, and cool elements in the story and queue. And plus, the Mission Breakout queue is so amazing with having all kinds of cool Easter eggs for the Disney parks, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy and Marvel. And Disney has also confirmed the presence of awesome mix style music, which is just icing on the cake at this point. But enough with the queue, background information, let's get into the ride itself. How's this ride going to function? Now this ride is a completely indoor roller coaster and dubbed a family-friendly story coaster. What does that mean? Well, my prediction with a description like that is that this ride is Disney's response to Hagrid's Magical Creature motorbike adventure over at Islands of Adventure in Universal. Both rides are dubbed story coasters and are supposed to be very heavily themed, so I think that's why I could see the connection being made. There are reportedly no loops or inversions on this ride, which may turn some people away from the ride, but there will be thrill in this ride, don't you worry. The main thing we do know and have seen in action are the ride vehicles, which have a super cool and unique design and also spin. Now, spinning roller coasters are not new for Disney. They are known for doing this in the Crush roller coaster over in Walt Disney Studios in Disneyland Paris, and it seems like Disney is trying to bring in the spinning to work as sort of omni-mover inside this roller coaster, which hasn't been seen before to this degree. If you don't know what I mean, omni-mover systems are always moving along a track, think rides like Haunted Mansion. Something else, though, that omni-mover ride vehicles are known for is being able to point the audience in a specific direction to focus their attention by spinning the cars. That concept seems to be making its way into Cosmic Rewind due to the number of show scenes being very high. This ride is supposed to have multiple show scenes, which I'm very excited for. And personally, I love when rides, specifically roller coasters, can use so many show scenes as well as thrill elements in order to tell a big story. On top of the spinning cars, we're also getting a backwards launch. Now, I've heard that this has to do with the story of the ride supposedly taking guests back to the Big Bang, which would make a backwards launch make sense story-wise. And I think it also has to do with the title literally being Cosmic Rewind. I'm honestly very excited for this, and I think it would be super unique and unlike anything at any of the Orlando parks. Similar to the story, there isn't much we know about the track layout either. One photo has been released which seems like quite a bit of track, but it is very small compared to the sheer size and scale of this ride. And there doesn't seem to be much in this photo outside of a very familiar looking jump point, which could be a transition from a show scene or into a show scene. There's a lot to be excited for with the ride portion, with many unique elements not found anywhere else at Walt Disney World, and I feel like this will surprise many with its elements similar to Hagrid's. While that seems like a lot of information, take into account that this ride doesn't have a concrete release date, and it was announced 4 years ago, and a lot of this information was released over 2 years ago. Disney seems to be keeping this ride top secret, which makes sense for an attraction of this caliber. However, that mystery just makes me wonder what they really have going on in there. There's also one thing that is making me think this attraction will be great and will be a game changer, or at least Disney's expecting it to be. Think about the Walt Disney World parks. Magic Kingdom is always going to be iconic and popular because it has all the classic attractions. Think Haunted Mansion, Pirates, People Mover, all of the mountains. Well, except for that one, but you know what I mean. but even that park has a large-scale ride and expansion coming by way of Tron. Now let's think of Animal Kingdom. They just got a huge expansion with Pandora and a groundbreaking simulator ride with Flight of Passage, as well as a smaller scale ride with Navi River Journey. Now, I know that was a while ago, but let me point you to a more recent example, Hollywood Studios, which just got a lot of attention. They have smaller scale rides like Smuggler's Run, and I even might argue Runaway Railway, even though that ride is absolutely awesome. But that was to complement the game changer of Rise of the Resistance. I feel like the same is happening here in Epcot. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is the smaller scale ride, a charming experience for the World Showcase, but not super innovative. But Cosmic Rewind will be the big ride here and definitely the most popular ride in the park. I feel like this not only because it's going to be the first original ride to open at Epcot in a long time, but it is also Walt Disney World's first Marvel ride, and I feel like they would want to start strong in order to compete with Universal, who has a whole Marvel land just a few miles down the road, as well as to compensate for the lack of an Avengers campus in Orlando. Outside of that, I feel like there's enough innovation going on with what we know to pique interest, and I'm sure it'll deliver on the hype. That being said, there are a few things that I hope the ride delivers on when it opens to the public. First thing is I really hope there are some animatronics on this ride. Rides like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and Rise of the Resistance did so much for advancing how audio animatronics work within a modern ride, as well as how they work with screens, so I feel like if this ride blends that with a roller coaster model, it would be legendary. Even if it's mostly in the queue, I wouldn't mind. I can see that most of the theme park community is disillusioned with the use of only screens in a ride, and I have my own thoughts on that coming soon, but I feel like audio animatronics are being made nowadays so they are so lifelike and really add that personality to a ride. I would also like to see a lot of Epcot references somewhere in the ride. While that's a little less likely, I think it would still be cool and something for us nerds to look out for. Epcot has a lot of quirks and nostalgia, and I would love to see that maybe in the queue or heck throughout the ride itself. Also, I would love to hear some of Tyler Bates' fantastic Guardians of the Galaxy score somewhere around the ride, whether it's in the queue, ride, or general area. I think it would be super neat and give sort of an extra immersive value to the ride. But what do you think? Are you excited for Cosmic Rewind or wish Ellen was back? Honestly, I love the 45 minutes in the AC, but if you couldn't tell, I'm super excited for this one, and yeah, I just can't wait for it to open. I've been kind of in and out on this channel, but I'm working on upgrading it, and I have a huge slate of videos coming. I'm thinking about posting on mostly Fridays, but I also might have some others sprinkled throughout, like maybe vlogs, but I'm kind of trying this new commentary sort of format, so I'm kind of working out the kinks at this point. But feel free to leave me any comments, suggestions, anything below. I do read them all, I promise. The next video is coming out very soon, and it is going to be very special. I was able to get reservations for Magic Kingdom for October 1st, and I'm just very excited for that one, so I'm going to be making a vlog on that day. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this and want to see more of me, consider hitting the subscribe button, and I will see you next time.